specifically news related to the White House Correspondents Association and to CNN now suing the White House, essentially. 6 defendants that are now part of a lawsuit. The White House Correspondents Association is backing CNN in that suit in what is really, frankly, a rare move. It is not often. There's only a few times in modern history that a news organization has sued the White House for access. This comes after the White House pulled one of the CNN's reporters' credentials.
Yeah, that's right. We saw this unfold last week at that press briefing. The Correspondents Association is fully in support of this. I would say the Associated Press also put out a statement at the time and continues to believe that the White House should not be in the business of taking credentials away from journalists or preventing them from doing their jobs.
There's something that I said last week on the show, Eugene, that I think is accurate yet again today, which is several things can be true at once. It can be true that the White House wants this fight and likes this fight with the media. It can also be true that not all reporters behave in the same way at the same time as other reporters do. And it can be true that the White House is under some serious fire and facing real questions now about pulling this credential, something that is frankly an extraordinary move that CNN has some real concerns about.
Yeah, indeed. I think all those things are true. The reality is that this could possibly be the new normal, and that's what people are fearing.
And that's not okay.
That's why the lawsuit is actually happening. And the reality is we're not that surprised when you look at the narrative between CNN and Donald Trump. It was going to get here at some point. And while Donald Trump wants this fight because it does work well with his base, who is very anti-media and specifically anti-CNN, ultimately this might not be what's best for democracy.
Again, a significant escalation here. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.